What's up, everybody? Welcome back to West Coast Pop. We are here with episode 6. A little bit of a long wait since last Friday's episode, but we're here, episode 6, uh, titled Kin. It's your boy, the final boss, and I'm joined once again every week by the main man, Zach. If you're new to the channel, we're doing Last of Us reviews for the entire season all the way through. We both have played the games. We're very excited to discuss this with you guys. So, Zach, how you doing this weekend? Are you ready for The Last of Us?
I'm good. This is the first time I watched a day of our review, so it's very fresh in my head. And if you had any comments at all about the episode or the season or the game, hit us up, let us know, because we'd love to hear from you.
We do, man, and we're wrapping up here. After this episode, there's only 3 more episodes left, man. It's getting real close to the big finale, and I can already tell they're planting seeds. So we're gonna get into it. Hit the chats, hit the comments if you're watching after going live. We'll definitely address all of those. We always read the comments, and we appreciate the support. So let's all jump in here. Let's go on this journey together. But Zach, taking us in here, man. This part was actually a little graphic for my girlfriend here. We were watching together. The rabbits, just seeing all these rabbits. I kept putting the camera on the rabbits.
It's too real for her. This is how they got by.
Yeah, that was too much there. But then we get to this cabin here. At first look, I thought it might have been Joel, but it looked like it was too much bigger of a guy. But we come in here on the guy's wife, and then Zach, tell me what happens in this magnificent scene.
I love this scene so much. If they ever do a spinoff of the show, it's these two. It's these two until the end of their time on this planet. So good. Elaine Miles, you may know her. She is from Northern Exposure. If you watched that in like the early 90s, late 80s. Elaine Miles and Graham Greene. He is in so much stuff. His IMDb page is like 20 people's IMDb page. Look him up if you want to find him. He's in so much. This scene was so fucking good. It was funny. It was like legit dialogue of a couple, and it was I don't know, man. I like they could have stopped this episode after this scene for me.
Yeah, they did their thing, man. It was a really good opening too, and I think we needed something a little lighthearted after what happened last week with Sam and Henry. So this is a nice little get us back into their, ease us into it, if you will.
I agree. I think you just nailed it right there. It is the perfect way to ease us back into the show. It's so good. The married couple banter, like he's all about like, what did you all tell him? You made him soup. Like, what is your problem? The back and forth banter is great.
I love the timing was perfect for this. I really enjoyed it, and I did say in the beginning of this episode, this is 3 months after the Kansas City Sam and Henry situation, so there's some time here. I was a little surprised also with Ellie. I thought she'd be a little more closed off. I didn't think she'd be kind of the same. So I was a little surprised there.
Yeah, I guess 3 months on a journey where you just have your thoughts. I guess maybe you kind of figure it out eventually. But
that's true. And what surprised me also, instead of Ellie being the one that changed much, it was Joel. This man Joel is getting put through the woodshed, if you will.
He is. We'll get to when he talks to his brother about it, how everything affects him. He can finally vent about it because he's trying to be strong for Ellie. But yeah, it's she's a strong kid.
Yeah, so she's holding on a lot better than I thought. In this scene here, so in a less brutal way, the tactic he uses where he asks the wife, "Where are we on the map?" and then later on asks him, and you said your spot better match what her spot was. He uses that in the game in one of the scenes. I'm not going to go into the details yet. He uses that in the game when he's interrogating 2 guys, and he has a knife in their knee, and he's like, "You better tell me where this guy was." So Joel, this is a very typical tactic of Joel, and yeah,
nice, great stuff. Great way to kick it off, and I'm just the performances were great, and 2 people who have been around in the industry knew how to deliver, and man, that's so good.
Yeah, great way to take us into.
Yeah, so then they finally do leave, but again, check out Graham Greene, his IMDb page. You've seen him all over the place throughout the years. Through God, he said like a 30-40 year career. I don't even know. Great career. And Elaine Miles from Northern Exposure. So great stuff from both of them. Let us know in the comments your thoughts. And it's prime time. Thank you for joining. Let us know if you caught the episode. It's fantastic.
Yes, very fantastic. And we're in the winter now. A lot of snow. A different backdrop to look at. Very cool stuff. Now in this picture, I think this is where they get to the river. That's the other thing they said. So this couple here is terrified of a group that's by the river. You don't go there because you don't come back.
Right. It set it up perfectly because she had humor because he was like he didn't want to be around people, and again, like typical like old married couple, just like I wanted to be around people. I don't know this fucking guy one, but ruined my life, but I still love him. But yeah, that terrified her. It it was very like I don't know. It was weird to see Ellie change from being like, "Oh, there's the terrible river," to being like
Yeah.
they hit another river, and she's like, kind of was very fearful, like, "Oh shit, maybe that's the river."
Yeah. And speaking of that too, back to the old lady who killed it for the few seeds. A lot of characters in the show kill it for a few seeds, but I want to point out she said something to Joel. Ellie's like, "We're not scared," and she's like, "Oh no, he is."
Yeah,
Love
scared
that.
him.
Yeah, he's getting affected way more than I thought, as opposed to Ellie.
Yeah, and I think maybe the thing is about that is the deviation. We see so many video game to any other source material into a movie or a TV show deviate from the source material. Maybe
Yeah,
this is their deviation is to use Pedro Pascal's outstanding acting ability and show these different ranges of emotion rather than just blatantly just tell the story.
yeah. I mean, we can dive a little more into it later, but um, it's crazy from a dynamic perspective because when you play as Joel, you almost feel invincible. So it's different seeing Pedro as Joel out there, where like he is an older guy, he's pushing 60, and he's been through it. He's been fighting for 20 years pretty much in the apocalypse.
Yeah. Question from Mr. Allpower. Do you miss the flashbacks they did in the first few episodes?
Those were cool. I really like the scientist one with the woman. That was really cool.
Yeah.
I don't know if I miss it. If they have time to still do it, that'd be a nice touch, but I don't know if I miss it.
Yeah, I think we're good. I think it just set up the world without going into too much depth or meeting one person who knew everything. And I think they served their purpose, and I'm good with it.
I will say this though, based off the trailer a few months ago and what I know about what's going to be happening, there should be one more flashback coming. And there was a trailer where we seen Ashley Johnson, who plays Ellie in the games. She was in the show, so I don't know what type of character she's
Ah,
playing, but the speculation is she'd be playing Ellie's mom. So we'll see how that goes.
okay.
So keep an eye out, Mr. Allpower.
All right. Well, now we are in the caves where they're going to hide out for the night and sleep. Jesus, you're from Winter Wonderland weather. They're getting hit again this week.
You're from the real tundra, man.
I was so cold watching this. I felt it. They did such a good job filming up in Canada, but this is a
Yeah.
great bonding scene.
Yeah, this is really good stuff, man. The chemistry between Joel and Ellie, Pedro and Bella is off the charts, man. They're really this is what I wanted from the show. Them to have these scenes where they're just building on that and carrying it, and like I feel like we're really in that journey with them, and I can see the bond getting stronger.
Yeah, I agree. Getting to know her a little bit more, letting his guard down. It's like he doesn't realize that he's letting his guard down,
He
but he
doesn't.
is.
He doesn't. Pedro's doing it so subtly, and I really like it, man. It's very, very small changes each episode.
Hmm. But you get into a little bit more of what Ellie was doing, and her hero up in space there, and all that stuff. She does have the NASA pin on her backpack, so they're hitting the fine points.
Yeah. And speaking of that, I'll touch on it there. Like they're throwing so many hints at stuff that happens in part 2 of the game, where Ellie is not obsessed, but like a big dream of hers is space, and they're throwing so many hints at that what happens. Like Joel pretty much goes out of his way to give her that experience in an apocalyptic way, in his own way, which I thought was really cool, a really touching scene. So they're doing a lot of hints.
Yeah. All right, but then they wake up the next day, and it's time to move on.
Yeah, this part here, let me know, guys, if you guys played the game. I felt like there was a little more that happened on this little cut here. But let me know what you guys thought. And this is a beautiful, by the way. I love where they shot this. I think where they're shooting in Canada somewhere or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you missed it, there was a little oopsie here. This is their Starbucks cup. There's camera crew.
No.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah. So we'll see if they go back and scrub the episode.
Is this an HBO thing now or what?
I might have missed it. So I watched it today. You watched it last night. Maybe they scrubbed it by the time I even watched it because I didn't notice that these are shots that someone else took. So
Yeah, I didn't catch that at all.
yeah. But that's the oopsie daisy.
Damn. Come on, Neil.
Then they get caught. Like I'm glad they did this so quickly. Again, like if I go to another show like The Walking Dead. It's just like it's this capture and everything would have been 30 minutes.
Yeah. This part, there's some parts that are coming up that I felt like they rushed, and I would have wanted a little more time. But this part here, I thought had a good amount of time here. It was well done, and I felt it. Like I was next to my girlfriend. We both were feeling like, oh shit, they have the dog out. Does the dog gonna react to Ellie, who's infected? I was very nervous, and you see the nervousness on Joel as well.
Yeah, I was nervous. Like we know what's going to happen, like we played the games, but like it was still there. So they did a good job building tension, and
Yeah.
they both sold it without selling it to the people that had the guns on them.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, I'm really curious about people who've never played the game to see how this plays out because, like, even for me who played it, I know what's gonna happen. I still felt, oh man, this could go sideways real quick here. This was a change from the games though. When you got to Jackson, which is the settlement that they have that Tommy is now part of, they did not have power yet. They were still trying to get that power
That's right.
going, and you actually make it all the way up to the gates before they stop you. This time they stopped you well outside the gates, and that's Maria. Have you seen her anything, Zach? She's been in a lot of stuff as well.
She looked familiar. I didn't know. I didn't look anything up today about what she's in.
Just off the bat, she's in The Walking Dead. She was in one of those episodes with Michonne, where she's trying to convince her to like treat her kids like to get ready for the zombies and stuff like that.
Oh yeah,
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 yeah.
yeah.
She was that one. She was in Arrow. And there's a lot of different things. She's all across like the comic book sci-fi world of stuff. She's in a lot of stuff.
Good, good, good.
So yeah, let us know in the chats if she did look familiar to you and what else she's been in. But a lot of seasoned actors in the show.
Yeah. This place was huge.
Yeah. I could see where the budget went because I believe they just said all the stuff they built. They built this entire stuff for the set. Obviously, maybe some of this in this scene might be CGI, but for the majority of it, they built the sets.
Yeah, they did. And then I actually have a comparison. They did shoot in a little town, and if you watch the after thing, they said that if a place a business there didn't want to film, but the others around did, they'd be screwed because they didn't want to, disrespect the town that was letting them film. So they got lucky. So it was
Oh
a
shit.
town. They built stuff, but I got a slide for that at the end.
Okay, that's dope.
But yeah, we get there. Jackson, and yeah, they're all up and running already, and there he is working.
There he is, his brother. Full mustache, like in the game. This is another dude. The guy who was in Terminator. He was Ghost Rider in Agents of Shield. He's killing the role of Tommy as well. This is the first time we've seen him since episode 1, but he did a really good job.
Yeah, he had a lot to balance too, and he made you feel that rather than just a bunch of dialogue. A lot of shows will just vomit out dialogue to make sure the audience gets what the person's feeling. But shows like this with great actors, it came across. We'll get to his explanation for everything, but they finally meet here. It's kind of awkward. It's touching, but it's still awkward because they have their history.
Yeah, it's still a little awkward. It's still, they both have been through so much. They even have a line somewhere in the episode where Joel says, "Looks like you haven't aged much," because he's been chilling, he's been living, doing a little hunting here, and Joel's been really through the struggle. So like you see the difference here, and yeah, they're both of them the trajectory they're on. He even asked, like, "How's Tess doing?" Joel lost Tess. Joel lost his daughter. He's still in as far as Tommy knew, he was still in Fedra. He was just struggling. Tommy, on the other hand, he got married. He has a kid on the way. The man just living life.
Yeah, vast difference. And as Tommy's living life, he's kind of letting go of some things, but he knows it's still there. With Joel has been living a very, very rough life. So all that stuff is bottled up inside of him.
Yeah.
So it's not like he processed it. It's just bottled up because he has to get to the next thing, the next mission, the next this. So
that's a good point. Yeah. And now he's on this. He even said it when they sat down. Tess, with her last dying wish, said, "Can you get this girl to where she needs to go?" So he's like, "What can I do? What choice do I have?" He's been on this route. It's just, Joel's just going through it, man. I feel for the dude.
Yeah. We'll get some more comparisons later on, but they did a good job rebuilding this town and making it seem pretty much like the game.
Yeah, very well done here, and I really felt it. So there's a part in season, or not season 2. I keep saying that, part 2. This entire city reminded me of that. How they had it in part 2, where it's a little more established. They have power. They're all self-sufficient. They have sheep in there. Joel was talking about dreaming about sheep on the moon. Um,
Yeah.
and I don't know if you have the picture here, but there's a certain character. So they're all taken back by how Ellie's talking. She's just cussing up a storm, you know, eating just they look like they haven't eaten in months. First of all,
Right. They
um,
were going to town on that food.
they were going to town, but there's a certain shot where you see another girl hiding behind one of the little pieces of wood there and
I got
staring
to that
off at
after
Ellie.
this one. Yeah, yeah. I
Okay,
want to get your opinion on that because I didn't know. But
okay, you can touch on this and then we'll get there.
Mr. Alpar saying the girl playing Maria was in True Blood. Have you guys watched it? Have you watched it, Knock?
No, I know it's a vampire show. I forget what channel that came on, but I didn't watch it.
HBO.
It was an HBO show as well. Oh,
Yeah.
keeping it in the family, that's what they do.
Yeah. You got Storm coming in next week. She's in the HBO family in Euphoria. So
Yeah.
that's funny you said that. Last night I was just flipping through stuff just to randomly find something, and True Blood's on syndication now around here in LA. And I watched like 30 minutes of an episode, so I might get into it.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I haven't really caught into the. I know that there was like a huge craze of 10 years ago. It was True Blood. It was Vampire Diaries.
Yeah.
They had the Teen Wolf. That was huge going on. But The Last of Us.
The Last of Us. This is it, Knox. So there you go.
All right, so yeah, Ellie catches a glimpse here. You see Joel looking as well. For anyone who's played the part 2, the speculation is that this is the character Dina from part 2, who had a huge role, was a huge main character in part 2. And I think Zach, you were telling me they were going to have some part 2 characters in the game or in the show. They were going to start doing that.
Yeah, I think it's smart too, and it's not like a DC or Marvel Cinematic Universe kind of smart. It's just like kind of like a basic stuff like foreshadowing what's going to come for fans as well. So it's not just all right, here's the episode where we introduce Dina, and it's just like she's been there.
Yeah.
And you know that. So you feel that in that world. It's not like why haven't we seen Dina on the street if they're walking on the street and stuff like that.
Yeah. So and then people on Twitter were asking like they just wait for Neil Druckmann. Hey, is this Dina? Was this Dina? And he gave the most nod answer ever. Oh, you guys are great. So that's not a confirmation, but I mean, we think it's her. I'll put her on the level of as far as like importance to the story. She's a main character. She's on the level of Joel. She means a lot to Ellie.
Oh, okay.
I'm not going to dive into any spoilers there, but I'll imagine she'll be a big character in season 2.
Okay, that must have been the whole point of the scene. Otherwise, it's just
yeah. What else happened there? But I feel like the character that would play Dina looked a little older than Ellie. I feel like in the game they were the same age or roughly close. So I don't know what they're going to do there with the type of change they're going to have.
Maybe just tall. I mean, she's about twice the size of a garbage can right there.
Yeah. They got Coca-Cola back there. That's a nice
Coca-Cola. Yeah, then they get to tour Jackson.
Yeah.
And it's a nice introduction to see things going on there. People on the streets doing stuff, vending, helping each other out, bartering. They're setting up the Christmas tree in the background. You see it as a community. And you get filled in at the same time too, while still seeing Joel be not trusting.
Yeah. There's so much emotion with Joel. There's so many layers. They're not trusting too much. He's still taken back. He thought he would be rushing in to save his brother. He thought his brother would be in like in dire need. He's not calling, and now he's kind of like hurt that his brother never raided him. Like he was worried about him, and now he's just like, you were fine all along. You didn't tell me. You didn't want to let me know.
Excuse me, right? And he even brings up that was it her that kept you off the radio?
Yeah.
Because they do find out during that dinner scene that those two are married.
Yeah.
So that changes that dynamic.
That was the other thing too. So yeah, like he was just super awkward here. Like he's really going through it. Like when they said that they were married, Ellie was like, "Congrats." Joel say congrats, and he was just like just lost.
Right. You go through how many episodes of hell because you can find your brother, and then you're just like all Thanksgiving awkward.
Mm-hmm. Oh man, and that's pretty similar to the game. As far as like their dynamics, like I think Joel and Maria had a rough start. Same with Ellie and Maria. They didn't really get along too well.
Yeah. This is so typical. Like your boy gets married and like the wife doesn't like you because you're like the old party friend.
Yeah. To that extent, in a more extreme extent, how do you feel about that though? In the sense that she kind of blames Joel for being the one that lets Tommy having a checkered background, if you will.
Yeah, I like how they did it. I really did. It's just like, personally, if that was how my friend's wife was acting, I'd be like, so you're saying your guy is so dumb he had to follow me and do exactly what I did?
And that's the thing that they kind of hinted at, like, Tommy being a bit of a follower. Like, he followed join the Fireflies. He followed. Um, she joined the army on a whim before the apocalypse, so he kind of is that type of character. But at the same time, too, he's a grown ass man. He knows he's doing,
Yep.
and they had to survive. So
Yeah. Exactly, and that's the thing too. They had to survive, and the couple in the very opening scene talked about all the bodies by the river, and they don't go past it because
yeah,
you see infected and non-infected bodies down there. So she's all cool with killing for the sake of Jackson,
that's true.
but she doesn't know the full backstory of why they had to kill and do all this other stuff. So it's a little double standard, but it
Yeah,
adds depth to the character, so it's fine.
it does, and all in all, I do think Maria's a very good character. I do like her, especially like part two. She has a bigger role.
Oh, okay. Nice
Um,
little stuff in here too with
yeah.
talking about past conversations, and this one happening with Joel and the sheep farm.
Yeah, this definitely wasn't in the part one of the game. Like, they weren't disestablished yet. They were still getting there.
Yeah. The
Uh,
horse. Which one was the horse in?
so this is actually part two. So I'm pretty sure in part one they did get horses. We're gonna get to that later, where Ellie does run away in part one. But the horse Shimmer, that's the one you'll be using with Ellie in part two.
Okay.
Same name and everything.
Nice. Kind of a deeper scene with people finding out more about each other here. Maria and Ellie, she got new clothes, more video game accurate clothes. She lets her clean up. Ellie comes downstairs. She sees the memorial on the mantle above the fireplace with her child and Joel's child, and they figure that out. And Ellie kind of figures out that's why Joel is the way he is around her.
Yeah. And that's like, you've seen the change. I like the way Bella played this one. You've seen the change in her face when she found out, oh, that's his kid. Oh, now this makes
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it's not how it happened in the game. I forget how. I think Ellie didn't find out till she. Actually, I don't know how she. I remember how she found out. Let us know in the chat. I kind of forget that detail, but this was a little different.
But she's really taking care of her. And then on the other side of it, the brothers are having a conversation and awkwardly trying to catch up by not directly identifying the seriousness.
And I forget. I think they said this in the post show, where it feels like when they're talking to each other, there's like a ghost in the room. They just have that lingering presence, and I feel like that was such a good explanation because you do feel it. Like you feel that weight. Yes, it's been 20 years, but Joel can't sleep. He's having panic attacks, and he goes into it here where he feels like a failure. And I was telling Zach, for anyone in the chat, I was telling Zach before we went live, I think they're planting seeds for the finale now with all this type of stuff. This is building towards, if you play the games, you know what happens. So this is planting those seeds for how Joel reacts to certain things.
Okay. So you're watching the after shows now, huh?
A little bit.
Yeah, they're decent.
They're very short too, so.
Yeah, that's nice. But this is good. I liked I just liked how this was done, and then everything came out that you wanted to come out later on in the episode.
Yeah. This one too, I think this is exactly where he told. This is where he told his brother about Ellie, or was it the next scene?
It's the next one.
Okay.
So she goes to the movies. I thought this was really cool. They still try to give normal, like pre-pandemic living to the children.
Yeah.
All the adults know that they got to barter and they got to work. As Maria explains the whole system when they're walking through Jackson, this was just nice to see. And credit to the background actors here who are honestly just like paying attention like kids to the movie.
Yeah, it was very well done there.
Ellie wasn't having it. This was the movie that was playing, the Goodbye Girl.
Is it an actual movie?
Yeah, it was up for a bunch of Oscars. I think the guy playing it, what's his name? He's from Jaws. Oh, I can't remember his name. I'm sure it's on
Did it say somewhere there? Yeah, that's crazy because they actually did find a movie that matched up to like how the dynamic was with Ellie and Joel. Like, don't leave me, and then coming together, don't get left.
Yeah, so Richard Dreyfuss won for this, and it's
Did he really?
basically he comes in to sublease a room because I can't remember if I saw God, I don't know how old I was when I saw this. She is left alone with her kid in the apartment, and I don't know if it's her husband or boyfriend leaves to go become an actor.
Oh,
So the kid has abandonment issues with the mom's parents. So you kind of get into that when we talk about Ellie and Joel in the bedroom later on. How everyone around her has been gone or died, has left
fuck.
her.
So
So
that's a nice
it's like
touch
that.
then.
Yes, and Richard Dreyfuss, becomes enamored with the kid and just becomes like best friends with the kid, and then obviously it's a love story, so wins over the mom as well.
Okay, I'm gonna check this one out. Actually, I didn't know it was an actual movie.
I
Any
forgot
really?
about this until like I was watching it. And I'm like, what the fuck movie is this?
Yeah. Any relation to Julie Marie Dreyfus?
No, different.
Okay, okay.
As far as I'm concerned, I didn't. Whatever those
Dive into this family tree.
Yeah, but this is the scene that you're talking about where he tells
All
about
right.
Ellie.
Yeah. So this scene here, I felt like he was a little more forthcoming with Ellie and her being immune. I felt like in the game he was a little more hesitant. But does tell her. He does say, "Listen, he can't go through. He can barely hear. He can't sleep. He already almost had some kid kill him. And now he's trying to pass Ellie off to his brother."
Yeah, kind of. He's defeated, and it's tough to see that already early on. Again, we talk about they're going through the game pretty quickly,
Yeah.
so it's just like to get to this point where he feels defeated, but it pays off later in the episode. But yeah, he tells Ellie, or excuse me, he tells his brother everything.
Yeah, and like I'm glad you brought that up too. Like it does, it just feels like he's defeated, and I felt like because we're at episode 6 now, 3 more episodes. I would have liked a little more. I think Joel needed a few more victories, a few more scenes where we
Yes.
can see him. Okay, he's very capable. He really is a very capable guy. So I thought we could have had a few more scenes where he actually got the one up on some characters, where he was actually doing his thing. I don't think we got enough of that to now feel the weight of the L's.
Yeah. All right, so he basically goes now to talk to Elle.
Yeah, so this part was a change in the game. I'm fine with it because if you guys played the game, Ellie does find out that Joel wants to go separate ways, and she just takes one of the horses and she runs off, and that leads you get a few scenes with Joel and Tommy trying to search her down. They're in a house like way off in the hills, I think somewhere in the mountains, and there's some zombies, there are some infected that you do fight, so there's some gameplay elements like that. But in this one, she doesn't run off at all, and then this happens in Jackson.
Yeah, I actually like the change and everything, just because it's. I feel like that's a filler thing to
Yeah, that's
do
not
for a
too
TV show.
right. That's not too big of a. I have no problem with that one. That's not too much of an issue for me.
Yeah, but this is like the part I really like when she's reading the diary and she says, "This really all they had to worry about, like boys and what
Hmm.
shirt matches what." And it's just like it's a perspective thing, but at the same time, yeah, it is. So that's why.
Yeah, and this is straight from the game here. If you guys haven't played, like this scene right here was very impactful, and like it really hits. So I'm glad they did it justice. I was fine with how they did it in the show.
Yeah, they got me with it, and the the producers and directors, I think, wanted to really focus on matching this to the game because they thought it was done so perfectly.
Yeah. This is when you see Joel walking in that scene of him with the house behind him. I already knew it was going to happen from the trailer. They do show that in the trailer before the show happens. But yeah,
Yeah,
very well acted by them both.
yeah, I like. I don't know. I didn't think it was gonna hit me like it did, but it totally did.
Yeah, and that's what I wanted because there's so many different scenes in the Last of Us game that really strike a nerve or hit, like just really get you in the feels. So I'm glad they're for the most part they're getting a lot of these right.
Yeah. Um. Yeah, I think they timed Joel's journey out perfectly for this scene to work, and then we got to know Elle a lot better in the last two episodes. And
Yeah,
even this episode was done so well. The director, she did such a great job putting everything together and making this episode work in favor of being on Elle's side and wanting these two to work.
Yeah. Yeah, so this part I was completely fine with. I'm glad I did it. And for an episode that wasn't too it was I was telling Zach this is a very character based episode. And I
Yes.
feel like they accomplished a lot with this one. It was very well done.
Yeah, they really did. So then Ellie is gonna take out, and then she goes to the stable to get the horse, and then Joel, of course, makes a kind of a little macho explanation as to why he's there, and he's gonna
Yeah.
steal a horse and everything. But again, he's still very sheltered with his emotions, so he didn't want to full on say that he does care about her. But
Yeah.
she got it. She got it. She's been around him enough.
Yeah. And at this point, the guard is completely down for both of them. Like they're as they went on, like they're on the horse, just cracking jokes. He's explaining football to her. Um, what's something that we that brushed over real quick here that we didn't really focus on, but I know happened. Do you know how relieved Tommy was when Joel said, "You know, fuck it, I'm gonna go." This man had the weight lifted off his shoulders. He did not want to go, man. It's like when you come home from a long day at work, and then your girl tells you, "Hey, we need something from the store. You're gonna go back out." He did not want to go.
I took it as he didn't want to go because he didn't want to get shit from the missus.
Yeah, that too. Actually, because
Oh, so you have to go. He
actually,
doesn't
she
want
would
to
have
go,
been
so you have to
she
go.
she would have been pissed. Actually, but Maria would have been pissed if he went, and that's true to her character in the game as well.
She would have. She would have brought Tommy by his ear to Joel and be like, "Tell him you're not going."
Yeah. So, great stuff there. I think actually in the game he does sneak away to go help Joel bring Ellie to the University of Colorado, Eastern University of Colorado. But then Joel stops him about a certain point and says, "You can go back. We'll be all right." Pretty sure that's how it's happened. Correct me if I'm wrong. If you guys are in
I
the
think
chat.
you're right.
So now we're on a journey. This is in their minds, in our minds here, who haven't played the game. This is the final leg of the journey. You get to the university. That's where they are. That's where everyone is. We see
Yep.
Joel here teaching how to shoot.
Yeah, it was a good bonding moment too. It was
Yeah.
just like really well done. It wasn't overacted. And it was nice. I also want to point out too how proud he was of being a contractor, and then he says everyone loved contractors,
Yeah.
like they were like superheroes or something. I
Yeah.
loved it, and he took pride that she thought it was cool, and it was almost like his daughter believing in him again.
Yeah. Oh, that's a great point you bring up there, man. Because
Because
he's
if you
been
watch,
missing that. That's a great point.
I was gonna say, if you watch the first episode too, she is proud that he does work and he does all this. That's why she helps him out
Yeah.
get ready in the day with breakfast and all that. So
That that's the type of stuff like that type of love and like feelings, that type of thing to put a jetpack in someone and keep them going, no matter how beat up they are, worn out, tired. That's a great point you made there, man. Oh man. So yeah, we get to the university here. This is pretty one for one, exactly how the game was, where how the university looks. They're riding on the horseback. You have the monkeys running around all over the place.
yeah, I totally forgot about the monkeys. This brought stuff back from the game a lot. So they did do a very good job of it. And I got another still towards the end of the stream here of where they shot at, what it looks like compared to how they made it look. So it's
Okay.
pretty cool. But
One of the changes here, like there's no spores in the show as opposed to the game. So there's some parts in the game where you have to go through some spore areas and try to figure out where
yeah.
everybody's at. But this happens in the game. No, everyone's gone. They all went their separate ways.
Yeah, and if you think about it too, that the spores aren't in the show, that
Yeah.
created tension in here for this because if spores are in here, we'd be like, okay, clickers or whatever. But it
Yeah.
allowed the whole thing to play out with, like you said, the monkeys in there, and there's a game comparison right there from
Oh,
IGN.
that's really good.
But yeah, it helps gain suspense so we don't know if it's what kind of danger it is.
Yeah, because we did hear some noises when they were walking in, and they thought, oh, it could be clickers, so they were trying to get close to see what it was. Guns were out. Then you see a map where everyone lit up, so they have
Yeah.
a new destination where everyone's going. That's gonna be some hospital. I think that's where they're gonna be headed towards next. This part here, Zach. How do you know how many collectibles did you collect in the game? Because there's a very important one here when you get into that room in the game.
I totally forgot. You see, all my information was on my PlayStation 3, and that's
Yeah.
gone. But
Yeah. So when you walk in the game here, if you're collecting one of the collectibles is a voice recording, and then you hear about one of the monkeys that the doctor was like observing and whatnot had got the cordyceps virus, and he started infecting everybody else. so it had spread through the monkey's ear.
Ah,
I forget there's some other stuff that might have caused some issues here, but I'm pretty sure that was the major outbreak that happened here, and it caused everyone to like go their separate ways or try to evacuate this area.
okay. So they're going to Salt Lake City because that's where the things led to the map on there.
Yeah.
Was that part of it, or was it just what you just said? And that was kind of the end of it.
I'm pretty sure they went. Yeah, I think it's where the hospitals in Salt Lake City where they all meet up.
Okay. Okay. But then we get to the fight scene because they see some people outside. Um, they try to sneak around and then get on the horse really quick. I knew putting that damn gun in the holster was going to get him, but like if you got to drive off, man, just shoulder that gun.
Yeah.
But like Joel dodges a wooden baseball bat blow. The handle breaks. They did a good job with the sound too, because before this happened, I was like, oh man, it sounds like the bat just broke in half.
Yeah. I caught that too. So I'm torn on this one a little bit. Do you remember how this happens in the game?
No.
All right, so in the game, some raiders do come in. You get to fight them, but you're off a little on like maybe the second. Yeah, I want to say the second floor. One of the raiders surprises Joel. He fights him and then he knocks him off the railing, and then he falls on like some rebar, and it goes
Oh
like
yeah.
straight through his back. Um, so I'm torn on this because that was a cool scene and it was crazy, but even for a game, it's hard to. I thought Joel was dead. It's hard to believe he would survive something like that. Like you thought on the spot, like to get back up, the way Ellie pulled him off that's not possible. So I thought for a show, this is a little more realistic to see. Okay, it's a bat, I can see it. Um, so I'm torn on that. But the last thing I will say is I'm just also I felt like this university scene was a little too quick for me. I thought they could have had a little more time here. Maybe had a few more enemies come in, and maybe that's some video game stuff. Maybe that's me because my girlfriend was fine with the pacing; she loved it. But I don't know, man. I thought we needed a little more.
Possibly. At least a little bit more to find out where they were or something maybe.
Yeah,
But I'm fine with the rebar thing just because there's a lot of movies, especially in the last like 15 years that have used rebar going through people. So I'm
yeah,
okay with the change up a little bit. A wooden
I am
baseball
too.
bat it made the enemy seem smarter too because he knew like okay he's got me here and here, but my hand's still free with this. At least I can get
Yeah,
one in on him.
yeah. So I was cool with that, and I think I'm like you said, it's happened in other shows. I'm pretty sure it happened in The Walking Dead. So I'm glad it didn't do that, and they avoided that a little. What do you call it? That little comparison.
Hmm.
But yeah, it happened in the game. Joel's on the horse, struggling to survive, and now this part in the game here is when you started to play as Ellie. Ellie takes
Hmm.
over as a playable character because we don't know what's going on with Joel. He's on his last life. He he's struggling here.
This was I guess maybe that's what like really made this game fun is just you were able to switch off and start playing as Ellie.
Yeah, and Ellie was really cool to play as, and like again, since you're going through this journey with them, like you really feel it. I remember when they switched over to Ellie playing, I was like, oh my gosh, I felt the alone. I felt like I think we don't know this episode ends on a cliffhanger, so Joel may or may not be dead. We don't know. Um,
Yeah.
crazy stuff.
Great stuff too. And I don't know. I think that was actually him that fell off the horse. I didn't think they cut the scene. So good on him. He landed on the ground on his shoulder. We do wrestling on here all the time, so you
Yeah,
know how to take the bump.
yeah. Shout out to Pedro for committing to that. You got it, man. Like this was because you start getting that feeling where he might be all right. He's looks all right, and now he's fading. He falls off the horse. Like I don't know, and then it ends right there.
Yeah. And Bella Ramsey did such a great job too, just being scared.
Hmm.
Um, that's a lot to deal with. He's been taking care of her. She's been holding
Yeah,
her own, but it's just like she knows that she's lost without him right now.
that's the thing, and like it really hits you, and it hit me in the game as well when you're playing. Joel is like, yeah, Ellie's doing a few things here. She can handle herself, but like, there's a difference between handling yourself like by yourself, never experience anything. Joel is her compass,
Yep.
the protector, the one with the experience. He knows all the little tricks people do, what's safe, where's safe. Even though he falls asleep on his watch duty, he's still like the guy like keeping her like uh feeling secure.
Right. And now you brought up that falling asleep on the watch thing. It's him getting older, but also like her wanting to be able to do that stuff and taking pride in that. It's
Yeah,
her like explaining that to him, like, yeah, but I did it. I was able to do it, and I did my rounds. I did this. I watched my six. She's very proud to do that, and she's very proud to show Joel that she did that. Hey, you taught me how to do this. I did it. It's
yeah,
it's a nice moment, just kind of like the same way the everyone loved contractors moment was.
Yeah, so this is again a really good character episode, and there's a lot of hints going on here that's going for. And now with Ellie, we just heard her talk about like everyone she's ever cared about is either died or left her.
Yep.
In the games, we have no idea what happens with her mom or how she gets to Marlene and the Fireflies and the and Fedra. So I hope they touch on that eventually. But here, Ellie, these next few episodes are going to get really, really tested. Like we have the not that innocent, but we have like the joyful, still trying to go forward with life. Ellie, these next few episodes, you guys are watching, she's going to get heavily tested.
Yeah. We'll get into what next week's is a little bit later on, but they're nailing these final shots of these episodes.
Yeah, yeah. Again, like I thought they did a really good job so far with the season. My only thing, I'll keep saying it, is I think we needed 12 episodes, at least a few more. That's all my only thing. I think we needed a few more, but for what they have, they're doing a really good job.
They are. Yeah, I love the direction on every episode, and uh, it sucks because you don't know if you're even gonna get picked up. You know,
Yeah,
especially with all these streaming services cutting stuff and now selling their content that made their streamer worth the money. They're selling it to syndication and other streamers like Pluto and Tubi to use.
yeah,
You know, for ads. So it's tough to just go ahead and give the kind of money that this show needs and a season 2 pickup right away.
yeah.
So maybe, you know, as showrunners, their thought was let's just do the best that we can and get through a good amount of storytelling. And so let's, if it does happen, if it is a 1 season thing, it looks great and it's the best video game adaptation we could do.
Yeah, and that's why like I can't fully fault them because I understand like I'm sure if this was like Neil Druckmann, he had all the budget he wanted, they would have got like a nice size episodes. But you know, being an unproven video game, it was a popular video game. I know the
Yeah.
budget might not be there and like the certain restraints you would have. So like I do get it. So I can't fault them completely for that. And on a side note, since you mentioned them, how was Tubi getting all this money, man? How are they just doing all this with getting people shows, putting stuff for free?
I don't know, man. I always forget about Tubi until someone sells their shit to Tubi.
Yeah. But yeah, end of the episode here.
We'll get into some. If you got any Easter eggs, let us know in the comments. Anything else about the episode? I'm just gonna go through some slides here and just let me know what you think. I got some character comparisons and some video game comparisons and some stuff from last week's episode that came out days later. So some fun stuff. So
Yeah.
overall, what do you think about the comparison here?
Really good. I mean, that shot right there looks spot on. I think overall, the guy playing Tommy in the show, he doesn't look too much like him, but I think his voice is spot on, and he's doing a really good job acting.
Yeah, he's such good, and he's so good of a human being in real life. He's so nice. I
Yeah,
really like this guy, so I'm really happy that he's on a big show like this. And I love the detail here. Look at how white his collar is. Look at how crisp the jean jacket is.
yeah.
Like you said, this man has been just
That's a
he's
great
chilling.
point. Actually, that's a great point. No dirt on him. He looks like he's been showered every day. You know, brushing his teeth. He's groomed. Like
Yeah.
that's a great point. Real quick, I want to touch on this because he hinted at this like, oh, I can hit any infected from like a mile out or something, or 50 miles out or something, whatever he said about his sniping skills. You'll find out in part 2. Tommy is an elite sniper. This dude is no joke. So
Okay.
going forward, like they hinted at that being a thing, and he's the real deal when it comes to sniping.
I love the little part too about how Joel wants to borrow his rifle
Yeah,
because you know his girl took his.
yeah,
But he says that he gives it to him, and then Joel puts that in there, and he says, you know, yeah, I already gave it to you. It's just, you know, it's nice brother banter, and like it still shows the awkwardness from Joel about how their relationship is.
I'm glad by the end of the episode they did come together and realize like they are brothers. They're on the same side there, and like they were on good terms.
Yeah, yeah. This comparison, what'd you think? I really liked her. I thought she was a great Maria, and the way she talked to Ellie, I thought is what really sold her as a solid character. You can do backstory and other stuff with the brothers, but how she treated Ellie and with a child on the way, I think the actress added depth to this character that I didn't expect.
Yeah, she did. And for Maria in the game, I don't know how much you remember of her there. Obviously, they don't look alike, but for like character, voice, and everything, and how she treats Ellie, spot on. she was perfect. Really really good acting there. Another change there is her being pregnant. She was never pregnant in the game.
Hmm.
Um, and then we did get some backstory. I don't think they talked about this in the game, but we did get some backstory. She was an assistant district attorney before this all happened, so she was built to lead and have like get her opinion across. And she is the effective leader of Jackson. There's no leaders, but she is pretty much the one in charge.
Hmm. Yeah, I thought you did great. And um, do you think she'll be a bigger part in season 2?
100%, hundred
Okay,
percent.
nice. Ready or not, thanks for stopping by. I hope you checked out the episode. It was great. Here's another comparison too with video game accurate clothing.
Yeah, I'm glad they're doing these little details because people that play the video game are gonna appreciate this.
Yeah, they're changing their clothes just on pace too with the video game.
Yeah.
So I like that. So this is the game version of Jackson.
Is this this is not part one. This can't be part one.
This must be part 2. I
Yeah.
just it was stuffed in with a bunch of other ones of the regular Jackson,
Yeah.
and I thought it was this Jackson, but then I something was different on there, and then I realized it was the game. But just for an example point compared to what they did tonight.
Yeah, like they were very spot on with this, and I'm pretty sure this is the part 2 Jackson where everything's established. They have the running war, like I said,
Oh
they've had it
yeah,
for 3 years. Electricity. They did not have that in the part 1 of the game, so
You're right.
minor change, but yeah,
This is also in the game. This is obviously part 2. Again, you can
Yeah.
tell the people in the background. The graphics are pretty damn good.
yeah, 100%.
And then this is comparison of just random stuff compared to what it is in the games as well.
Yeah. Since you brought up that, I think that house on the right, when we were playing that movie as well, I got some flashbacks to part 2, and yeah, they're hinting a lot at some of the stuff in part 2.
Nice. Still got to play that game, man.
It's really good, man. Very
More character
controversial.
shots. Is it okay?
Yeah, they did their thing, man. I'm glad they're sticking close to the source material, but adding necessary changes to keep the story going.
Right. More stuff from the scene here.
I'm gonna have to replay the game and see this part because I remember the game really really affected me. So I got to see which one did it better, the game or show. Let us know in the chat what you guys think for some of these major plot points. If it was better in the game or show.
Yeah. And then some more game comparisons here with the dam and when the brothers meet.
Damn, that's really good.
And then from the end of the episode here, you can see more stuff of Joel just fading.
Yeah, so tune in next week, man. We got to see if Joel's gonna make it because that's a really bad wound.
Yeah.
And it's not like there's Actually, I'm glad we're here. That's a really bad wound, and it's not like there's doctors around. So back to last week when what's her name? Freaking the leader of that group. Who kills a doctor in the apocalypse? What type of leadership is that? That is the most wildest thing I've ever seen. I meant to say that last week or the past 2 episodes, but who does this?
It shows how insane she is, and she didn't care about everyone. She just wanted vengeance for her brother.
Yeah, exactly.
Here's the shots here. You can see differences from what they shot to what it actually is. I'm just going to take us off for a second here. You can still hear our voices, but just so it's a little more clear what you can see here of the town and everything compared to what is in real life before they shot there. So
That's really
credit to them for, I don't know if it's their department or if it's CGI stuff, if it's some of this has to be filters as well, but just great job of making it look like the world of The Last of Us.
Yeah. So we'll see, man. World of The Last of Us. You make plans. You're hoping you go through with it. We thought Sam and Henry would be part of Joel and Ellie on their journey, but that didn't happen. So they've planted another seed here with Tommy saying there's a spot for Joel and Ellie in Jackson if they want to, come back and live there. So we'll see if they can make it there, man. There's a lot going on, a lot between the end of their journey and going back if they can make it to Jackson. So it's crazy. We got a lot of story left.
Yeah. Some stuff from last week really quick here. Some shots of the crew, the cast. I mean, taking it. It's just such a cute pic. I love how happy they are on set. If you watch some of these behind the footage stuff, it's just they're really, really. It's almost like a family on set, even for people who are around for one episode.
Yeah, and I think I think Bella said it. That whole night shoot was about 2 or 3 weeks worth of shooting.
Wow.
So, yeah.
Well, it paid off. There's other stuff if you want to find the clickers and all the other ones that came from the ground. But here is the big guy, the bloater. This dude is jacked in this
Yeah,
suit, and you
that's
have
pretty
to be
nasty.
because it is just heavy as it gets there. Look at all the stuff that they're doing, the detail.
Yeah,
Great.
that's nasty.
And here it is. It's a real
So,
person. It's a girl. It's a contortionist. This is the one who crawled through and almost got Ellie.
yeah, so that's crazy because there weren't any, and I was worried about this too. There weren't really children or child clickers or infected in the game. I'm gonna imagine that's because they didn't want you really going around killing kids, even though they're infected.
Right. Yeah,
But
yeah.
it's a nice touch to see it in the show. That's a nice little change they did.
It was. And I'm glad they found a contortionist. And I think I don't know if she's on America's Got Talent or one of those shows, but
Ooh, maybe.
yeah,
I can see
very,
it.
very cool. Very cool for her to be on there and do that. And next week, this is it. You've been talking about it every other episode
Yes.
here. I'm excited to see it. And next week, I want to just you can deep dive into how close it is to this other content.
Yeah, we're gonna see, man. This was a huge part. This was DLC for The Last of Us Part 1, Left Behind with Riley. We're gonna see a lot about Ellie and like what happened before she was met with Joel and all this type of stuff. And this is some important stuff. I don't know if it's gonna take the whole episode. I don't know if we're gonna get Ashley Johnson in this one, maybe some flashbacks with Ellie, but we're gonna see some stuff, man. This is gonna be crazy. I do hope they do show this episode with Riley and dive into her character. And I do hope we do get present day stuff as well. I hope it's not all in one. I hope it's a long episode.
I'm pretty sure this is the whole episode. So we'll see what we get. Storm is an outstanding actress. She is on Euphoria. So I'm looking forward to this. Again, I did not play this. So I can't wait to hear your comparison for it.
Yeah, we're gonna see, man. Next week, next Sunday, we're gonna be doing the review. So definitely check us out, man. Oh, Zach here. Oh, it's called Left Behind. Oh, interesting.
Yes.
That's the title of the DLC as well.
So the last episode, the season finale, they've released the time. It is 46 minutes. It seems a little short compared to how like Game of Thrones and other big shows are doing their finales for seasons, which they kind of do.
Super disappointing.
Yes. So we'll see. The other times for the next 2 episodes haven't been released yet because they don't really release them until about Wednesday.
I hope that's I mean, I trust your source, but I hope that's like not accurate. 46 minutes is criminal for a season finale.
Yeah. 46 minutes is what I'd expect of like maybe tonight's episode, but yeah. We'll see how it is. Maybe my source sucks.
Yeah, I really hope they get it right and don't rush that because the finale should be done well, man. If you see real quick there, Left Behind was titled the DLC. Episode 8, When We Are in Need. That's a crazy group. I'm really interested for that episode. And the guy in the middle, I forget his name, is David. He's the leader of that group. The guy on the left, that's a new character, but if you guys recognize him, that's Troy Baker, who's pretty much any voice actor in any video game, including Joel.
Huh.
So we'll get there when we see him. So we'll see how he does.
I love these little Easter eggs.
Yeah, so really good stuff there, man. Troy Baker went from the good guy to joining another group. So we'll see. We'll see what happens in the next few episodes.
All right. Review. What do you give this out of 5?
I'm gonna go a solid 4 out of 5. Solid 4 out of 5. Good episode. Just they did what they needed to do.
Okay. I'm gonna give it a 4.4.
Okay.
Just because of the scene between Joel and Ellie really hit. Pedro Pascal's acting and taking different emotions to different levels and hiding them and showing them was great. Bella Ramsey again knocked it out of the park, and I thought everyone else just held their own, and I just love the set designs.
Yeah. So yeah, great job by everyone at HBO, Naughty Dog. Really good show. Just please don't let the finale be 46 minutes. Please don't be that.
Yeah, please. All right.
With that being said, that was our Last of Us episode 6 review. Thank you guys for jumping in the chat. Thanks for joining. Let us know in the comments below what you guys thought. If you didn't catch it live, we'll see you next week for episode 7. Peace out, y'all.